Yeah. So, like I was saying, got that bitch open though. You feel me? And I was saying, get your Corona game up, stupid. But what I was saying about that, fixed water energy and shit like that with Scorpio being there, this bitch will keep letting me go. Pretty much that's how you feel home and the most, where it's domicile at, where it's the most comfortable and feels, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, feels the most complacent at when it comes to how you know what I'm saying, how you fixate and sustain an emotion and a feeling when it comes to like your emotion, your emotions coming from your motivations, passions, desires, deep secrets, you know what I'm saying? Not fantasies, but you know what I'm saying? Like sex energy for you to have the ability to bind or yeah. So I was saying like bind or join two energies together. That's pretty much how that energy would be. You know what I'm saying? Played out with your passions, motivations, desires, and deep emotions when it comes to how you fixate and sustain that within those. You pretty much that's where it's the most home at, as well as you being able to initiate and create a inner vision or create yeah. So what you can mentally rebirth and transform when it comes to your deep emotions and shit like that, what you can fixate and sustain in your emotions. Jupiter, Cancer, where cardinal water would be exalted at how you initiate and create your family and privacy, your home, family and privacy, and you having the ability to bear the most fruit there and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's where the height of the ability to be able to have an experience, faith, belief, imagination, gain wisdom and knowledge and experience out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be through that initiating, creating emotions in your internal home, as well as going on to go with that, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to how you do business, shit like that. So, like, the fall there would be cardinal earth, which, you know what I'm saying, that's the balance of the power when it comes to where it bears its greatest fruit at, to how it can, you know what I'm saying, relate that in relationships and shit like that. Would have to be, put in work through that, you know what I'm saying, to balance the power type shit, basically. You see what I'm saying? So the detriment, which that would be, away and shit like that, that would be the Virgo, cardinal or mutable earth, and Gemini, mutable air, which you can be mutable and adaptable to when it comes to how you think and communicate, and also as well have a work health routine patterns for yourself and others and shit like that. Be moldable and adaptable. Being moldable and adaptable to those things is what you pretty much have to balance the power, have to use to balance the power in where it's home at, and that's basically Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying, mutable fire, and Pisces, mutable water. What we are moldable and adaptable to when it comes to our visions, you know what I'm saying, in what we experience, have a wisdom and knowledge, extraction of an experience out of, you know what I'm saying, and can, express that is a way of going about, being moldable and adaptable to others and shit like that. So, as well as emotions and how we, are moldable and adaptable to others' faith, belief, imaginations, delusions, dreams, fantasies, you know what I'm saying? And, spirit's own ability to, be moldable and adaptable to our own as well. You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much where it's most home and where it feels the most comfortable in, expressing its energy or, domicile at. moving on to Saturn, where, you know what I'm saying, cardinal water would be bearing the fruit the most of, or cardinal air, I should say, would be bearing the fruit the most, and using that Saturn energy of discipline, structure, or more, to say the least, how you build on reality of things, and basically, you know what I'm saying, structure that and shit like that. It's gonna be how you initiate and create your relationships and the ways that you relate and shit like that. You know, and communicate that. So that's where it's bearing its, you know, greatest potential or fruit at. You see what I'm saying? It's energy to be able to, excuse me, you know, utilize that, excuse me, Saturn energy structure, having a way you could build on reality through structure and shit, and just, you know, conducting a way of doing that with the public and shit like that. So, where it would be falling at, so that's pretty much like where it's balancing its power, initiating, creating, you know what I'm saying, a cardinal fire there, a passion, motivation, imagination, creating a personal interest, or birthing a individual way of going about things when it comes to your internal visions, and, you know what I'm saying, passions, motivations, desires, when it comes to those personal interests and issues of values and shit like that. You being able to balance that power out from what you're bearing the greatest fruit in, to be able to structure reality out and shit like that. So being in detriment there would be where it's, you know, away in Leo and in Cancer. So that's, you know, fixed fire, sustaining, a vision, internal vision, and a you know what I'm saying, entertainment, fun, or enjoyment energy out of, like, you know what I'm saying, that ability to have a, you know what I'm saying, have a childlike expression, or not really just have a childlike expression, but a fun way of going about your self-expressions and shit like that. It's going to be how, like, you know what I'm saying, you're able to balance out the power from, you know, fixed air. You fixating, sustaining thought in a, you know what I'm saying, association, and associate with associate, or the public that your arena that you're in and shit like that, and being an individual and being unique, and, you know what I'm saying, different, or, you know, opposing against that, aka, you know what I'm saying, rebellious, and, like, you know what I'm saying, innovative and creative when it comes to what you're, you know, associating yourself with your associations for, and the reason that you're doing it, you know what I'm saying, your thought that you fixating, sustaining for the long-term vision of the associations and shit like that. So the detriment to the other, you know, that's where it's domicile at, that's where it's feels most comfortable at. Saturn being, you know what I'm saying, building on reality in the public type arena. That's where, you know, Aquarius is the most comfortable, or, you know, just complacent domicile is. So with Capricorn being there as well, being domicile, it's going to be how you structure out reality. It's going to be how, like, you know what I'm saying, in when it comes to how you initiate and create a motherfucking business, career, you know, entrepreneur endeavor, or whatever the case may be, for you to be able to, you know what I'm saying, stand on business and structure out that status and shit like that, amongst the how you can build on reality, is the most complacent there, is, you know, is what I could say about it, because of the energy that is wanting to be able to be used is Capricorn in itself, and that's what you want to, you know what I'm saying, kind of have power and control over things when it comes to using or being used and shit like that. So in the public arena, or what your status is, whatever your status is, that you initiated and created. So Cancer, being the power of balance there is where it's a detriment at. So it's where it's a way, but it kind of is a way to balance that power of your status or whatever, and how you initiate and create your emotions and your internal home, and how you go about family, home privacy and shit like that, with structuring out reality and shit like that. So exaltation from there, uh with Uranus would be fixed water, you see what I'm saying? Scorpio is what I got. And y'all in the comments, you feel me? If y'all want to, you know what I'm saying? Help your boy out. We all trying to learn and shit like that. We trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, grow and expand, you know what I'm saying? These type of aspects of, how we can learn what actually, you know what I'm saying, we are emanating, creating, as far as when it comes to these energies and shit like that, exaltations, falls, detriments, and domiciles and shit like that, and how necessarily we looking at them in general for us to be like, oh, we're fucked, because sun's in Aquarius or some shit. It's where it's, or sun's in Libra or something. Like, nah, fam, this is all, you know what I'm saying? Each one teach one, baby. Going on to Uranus though, being, fix a water there, us being able to, fixate, sustain emotion or desire, passion, and ability to rebirth, and how we can utilize the innovation and creating a individual or unique energy, and being, the all possibilities of things and shit like that nature. So us being able to use that fixated emotion and shit like that, bearing its greatest fruit and shit like that, we can have the ability to, you know what I'm saying, utilize that to create new innovations and shit like that, through how we fixate and sustain our ability to transform things and shit like that, and rebirth things into existence, I guess you could say, you know what I'm saying. And that's pretty much where we bear our greatest fruit, with how we can innovate and create, or how we can innovate in you know what I'm saying, make unique something new, you see what I'm saying? Make unique something, make something new, this, you know what I'm saying, unique, that we can pretty much see all possibilities through, and something new that we can, you know what I'm saying, be able to you know what I'm saying, introduce into society, or I guess you could say our associations, associates, and, the public arena. So that's kind of how, like, Uranus plays out in general. So, like, the fall of that would be, how we are balancing that power of creating that emotion, or fixating, sustaining, I should say, that emotion, and how you rebirth that emotion and shit like that, and in how you innovate and create, innovate unique energy and shit like that, for you to be able to fixate and sustain that balance of power in, you know what I'm saying, what your values or gifts or talents may be. That's kind of how, like, what Uranus is in right now, Taurus. So our ability to fixate and sustain how we feel safe and secure in our you know what I'm saying, our gifts, values, and talents, with, the ability to innovate and create, innovate in, what's it called? Yeah, innovate and make unique or individual something that in your associations you want to, you see what I'm saying, see all possibilities through, for you to be able to see the long-term vision of what you have in your associate, you know what I'm saying, what you can produce through your associates in the public arena and shit like that. So fixating, sustaining you know what I'm saying, ability to have a gift, value, or talent. That's pretty much how the power is being balanced out for how you can, you know what I'm saying, how you bear that greatest fruit in Uranus, where you can change and make unique and different, something that you can, you know, introduce into society and the public and shit like that, for it to be new and you know what I'm saying, and from the long-term vision of you being able to do that as well. That's what it plays out through. And detriment there would be Leo, so that's like, you know, where it feels away at, or where it is balancing the power of how you you know, associations fixate and sustain your unique individual way that you can innovate and create something, you know, innovate or introduce something new into society and shit like that, from your associations, associates in the public, through your, you know what I'm saying, all possibility energy and shit like that, would be like how Leo would be fixating, sustaining, balancing that out, your personal, or your fixating, sustaining, you know what I'm saying, your self-expression. So yeah, like your personal expression, your way that you have fun, you know, fun and enjoyment with that expression, would be how you balance the power of where it feels home at, and where it feels like the most usable, or the most complacent domicile it. So in detriment, it would be Leo. So going to Neptune, the highest extent of the fruit that would be buried there would be cardinal water. So in Cancer, how we initiate and create our home, you know, family, privacy, energy with our emotions and shit like that, being able to be expressed out as a you know what I'm saying, dream, fantasy, or delusion and shit like that, through the public, you know what I'm saying, it being you know what I'm saying, where you stand on business at, how you can express that dream, faith, or, you know, belief in your way that you initiate and create emotions with your home, family, and privacy and shit like that, your internal home and shit like that. So with you excuse me, having father be you know what I'm saying, what you initiate and create, as far as when it comes to how you have a business status or career and shit like that, it's gonna be the balance of power for that you know, emotion that you create and shit like that, for the dream, faith, belief, imagination, or whatever the case may be. It's gonna be like how you are able to, you see what I'm saying, see the initiation and creation of your ability to stand on business and structure a status in that dream, faith, belief, you see what I'm saying, imagination, or whatever the case. That'd be the balance of the power of how we, you know what I'm saying, are fulfilling that highest, you know, where we bear the fruit the most at, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? Where that energy is most, being able to be most, you know what I'm saying, the fruit be bared out of it, with our dreams, faith, beliefs, imagination, and shit like that. So detriment would be Virgo, you see what I'm saying? How we are moldable and adaptable to our work, health, routine patterns within that, you know what I'm saying, dream, faith, belief, imagination, and shit like that, would be how we balance out the power of where it's domicile at, which, you know what I'm saying, that would be its detriment. Its domicile would be mutable water, Pisces, what we are mutable, moldable, and adaptable to when it comes to ours, as well as others, you see what I'm saying, faith, belief, imagination, and delusion and shit like that, whatever the case may be, for they how they create, or their spirit utilizes their ability to have belief, faith, imagination, and shit like that, to see, you know what I'm saying, the dream be played out as a, you know what I'm saying, a way of fulfillment and shit like that, a way of feeling comfortable, you know, secure, I guess you could say, not most utilized, but ability to just easily utilized, it, which, you know, which Yeah, not Mercury. Neptune is there right now currently. You see what I'm saying? Neptune being in Pisces at the moment. That's where it feels the most comfortable at. You know what I'm saying? To balance that power out, we have to be moldable and adaptable to ours as well as others' way of going about work, health, routine patterns and shit like that. So with us doing that, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I'm trying to balance this fucking. So with us, you know, having to balance out the power of the dream, faith, belief, imagination, and shit like that through what we are moldable and adaptable to when it comes to ours, as well as others' work, health, routine, patterns, and shit like that, would be like how we are, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, balancing the comfortability out, you know, from the uncomfortability energy or whatever the case. See what I'm saying? The away energy and shit like that. So with Pluto, our exaltation going to be how we initiate and create imagination, you know what I'm saying? Personal birthing of an imagination, personal interest or value and shit like that, where we can, you know what I'm saying, personally value, you know what I'm saying, from ourselves and be relatable to others' personal value as well and shit like that. So that's pretty much how we can initiate and create an inner vision that we can birth into existence and shit like that. So that's the exaltation of Pluto, which in, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much how we take control and take, you know what I'm saying, take power and control over internal issues when it comes to how we fixate, you know, fixate and sustain emotions and shit like that. And how we take power and control over, you see what I'm saying, binding energies, or the energy to be able to, you know, put two energies and create a new one, which basically is a birthing energy. So that's why Aries would be, you know what I'm saying, the exaltation of Pluto. So our ability to initiate and create an internal vision amongst, you see what I'm saying, others and shit like that, being initiated and created through how we have a, you see what I'm saying, internal vision that we want to see come to life and shit like that. So that'd be a birthing energy. That we would see value in, with Aries and Pluto and shit like that, being the exaltation, being the most bearing fruit of how you can take power and control over, you know what I'm saying, issues, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever you have in your deep emotions when it comes to that, taking power and control and, you know, and you see what I'm saying, transforming situations would be through Aries, because that's the most, shit I'm saying, sparking a transformative type energy. So how you would be balancing that out for the fall would be Libra, cardinal air, how we can initiate and create a relationship, the ways we can relate or communicate in our relationships and shit like that, and how we can, you know what I'm saying, learn to balance out the power of what we initiate and create personally as our, you know, value and shit like that. Detriment would be Taurus. So that's pretty much how we're balancing the power of the fixated emotion, where, you know, it being home in Scorpio, what we are passionate and motivated about, and how we fixate and sustain that emotion through those passion, motivations and shit like that, and desires, being the most comfortable, of being the most safe and secure, where Pluto might take power and control and feel comfortable. It would be in that energy. Balancing that out would be, though, fixed earth, fixed earth, you being able to fixate and sustain your ability to create fixate and sustain a give, value, or talent from the internal to the external, you know what I'm saying, material and maternal being reflected from your self-esteem and internal value, being able to have that ability, you're going to be able to balance the power of the power and control and issue, whatever the case may be. You're initiating, creating emotions, deep emotions type energy. your ability to be able to, you see what I'm saying, come bring two energies together to create a new energy and have sex with those things. You know what I'm saying? Fixed water. Scorpio and Pluto. Being able to have power, control, and transforming that whole thing. See what I'm saying? That's where it's most home at. So with all that, with all that saying that, you know what I'm saying? Why Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, and the sun's masculine side isn't exalted? You know what I'm saying? This is the breakdown of it. So every exaltation we had, it had every sign except for these four. Aquarius, Sagittarius, which Saturn is Aquarius's masculine planet, or I guess you could say Aquarius is Saturn's masculine side. Jupiter is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is Jupiter's masculine sign, and Mercury, Gemini is Mercury's masculine sign, with Leo being, you know what I'm saying, the fourth sign that isn't exalted in these planets and shit like that. It being home in the sun, pretty much, that's like, you know what I'm saying, where it's pretty much only it's only home in Leo. So that's the masculine side of it. You feel me? So why it's not exalted though, all these four signs are the most, shit I'm saying, mutable signs. And this is why, you know what I'm saying, for this video, I pretty much, broke down the exaltations and shit like that. I'm gonna make another video explaining, you know what I'm saying, it would be like a part 2, but it's not gonna be a part 2 to these videos and shit like that. It's gonna be a part 2 to, you know what I'm saying, kind of breaking down another aspect of what I'm gonna introduce and shit like that into, you know what I'm saying, this new astrological chart and shit like that. But it's not really new, you know what I'm saying? People already use it, you know what I'm saying? As y'all know, we already go off of the aspects and, you know what I'm saying, the conjunctions, semi-sextiles, squares, sextiles, you know what I'm saying, trines, quincunxes, all of that, oppositions. Yeah, and like, so what I was saying was pretty much why Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, and the sun, masculine side, isn't exalted. You know what I'm saying? That's having to deal with so they're the most mutable signs, I would say. And, you know what I'm saying, what I'm backing up this case would be, you know what I'm saying, the other videos. But as of this video, what I'm going to say is this. You see what I'm saying? Fixed air dealing with Saturn's masculine side, why it's not exalted. See what I'm saying? It has a, or you know what I'm saying, necessarily fallen or whatever the case, I would say, you know what I'm saying? Because now that I'm, looking at these, they're not really exalted or fallen. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what, you know what I'm saying, I probably would name this video and shit like that. So, with Saturn being masculine side, being Aquarius, fixed air, our associations, what we associate to with in the public, is pretty much not exalted or fallen. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming to the conclusion of, because it's the 11th house, you know what I mean? Fixed air, you feel what I'm saying? Associates in the public are what we fixate and sustain throughout that, you know what I'm saying, would be probably considered the most, you know what I'm saying, with how, first house Aquarius would lead to, you know what I'm saying, third house, you see what I'm saying, having it be like, or not third house, but, fifth house being the third house, which would be Gemini, you know what I'm saying, the seventh house being Leo, the 11th house being Sag, and yeah. the opposite exact, you know what I'm saying? Or not opposite, but you know what I'm saying? The yeah, that being how it plays out. If its first house being itself, being Aquarius. See what I'm saying? So with that, you know what I'm saying, us having a ability to fixate and sustain a thought or an individual, you see what I'm saying, unique aspect of going about our associations and shit like that in the public, what we celestially create would be the most, you know what I'm saying, non-exalted, non-fallen, one of the most non-exalted, non-fallen placements, aka being one of the most, you know, I guess you could say, uh, most not masculine, but you know what I'm saying, all these signs are masculine and shit like that. So you could say for instance, like, you know, say like an emotion. You get too exalted with that, people are gonna call you emotional. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna say it's too much. For this, pretty much these energies and shit like that, they never truly are, like they never get to, and not saying that spirit is taking the control of that energy pretty much and using it as utilizing it in the vessel as a sun sign would be like not, you know, going overboard or whatever, or not being too, you know what I'm saying, depressed or some of the case of nature, or what, not being too you know what I'm saying, having to work too hard for shit like that, type nature. They would be like, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be people like, you know, that can make these type energies seem in a way of exaltation and fallen placement, so they all got their aspects to them, you know what I'm saying? Because all possibilities is a real thing, so therefore, you know what I'm saying, there has to be an example out there somewhere that we got where, you know what I'm saying, all of these signs and placements, shit like that, would be basically, you know what I'm saying, exalted or fallen, but not truly, even though with them, you know, being cuspy beside Taurus, you know what I'm saying, being exalted in the moon, being cuspy beside Gemini, um, Pisces being exalted in Libra and in Venus, which would be cuspy beside, you know what I'm saying, Aquarius. So all these, we got these cuspy aspects of how they could be exalted, but they're not truly exalted. And shout out to my man Mooney Mercury, you know what I'm saying, my spiritual homie, you feel me? We came to the conclusion pretty much of this shit that's gonna be like, you know, what the exaltations is only gonna be, and fallen placements would only, you know what I'm saying, is only gonna be actually what it's seen as, and what is, what you know, there's only could be one placement. There can't be two, see what I'm saying, exalted placements, basically, or fallen placements. Now the detriment and domicile, on the other hand, you know what I'm saying, excuse me, of that nature, they're gonna be pretty much being able to be, you know, expanded on when it comes to those, you know, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn energies. So as well as Mercury, you see what I'm saying? Just with the exclusion of Pisces not being the detriment, along with Sag there, but you know, Virgo and Gemini is, you know, in domicile together in that energy, even though Virgo is exalted in Mercury, excuse me. So like, yeah, what our conclusion is, that's pretty much what we came to, is that's how it's going to be seen as. It's not going to be seen like every exalted and fallen placement. It's only going to be one sign. So even though, you know, Mars might be exalted on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius, with you know, you having a little bit of Aquarius energy, kind of, you know, cusping that exaltation and shit like that, of that nature, but it's not truly and honestly seen there at the end of the day. When it goes into that position, it's exalted. When it moves out, it's not anymore. Maybe on the cusp, you know what I'm saying? That's where we can, you know, share the exaltation ability and shit like that of that nature. So that's pretty much how that's gonna play out in general for what the exaltations and falls is gonna be. So necessarily why they not falling, I mean, or exalted, this is just, you know what I'm saying, with my theory, or I guess you could say my conclusion, not my conclusion, I guess, you know what I'm saying, I'm just adding on to it. We all adding on here, but I will bring some more videos, like I said. So yeah, to go on from that yapping, whatever, the fixed air association, the associates in the public is our celestial creation. So the masculine side of Saturn, that's pretty much how we are fixating, sustaining, and creating, our mentality when it comes to the public and shit like that. We're gonna be seen as in the long term of when we transform as a spirit and shit like that, go through our transformation, we're gonna be seen as, carrying from that status to that association to the dream, being rebirthed out into another creation, imagination, or birthing energy of bringing something to life. So, an internal vision and shit like that, of that nature. So you being able to, you see what I'm saying, fixate and sustain that type of association and shit like that. It's not really more exalted or fallen than anything. Is you see what I'm saying, more having the ability to be utilized for the spirit, and for an ability to be moldable and mutable and adaptable to situations, and not be so this way or that way. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I call them the most mutable placements, with Leo, and even though they're fixed placements. And Aquarius is a fixed air sign, but like I said, its fifth house is Gemini, which that would be its balance of its, you see what I'm saying, power and shit like that. Or not its balance of its power, but its, balance of how it balances its influence out through its opposite sign and its opposite house, self-expression and shit like that. So like I said, but yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go on because I'm gonna do that video later and shit like that. I'm trying to get into it because it's just like, kind of excited for me to be able to learn something different and experience, some type of wisdom and knowledge that I may could share with others, individuals, and I could get out of, other individuals as well, to be able to expand our possibilities and shit like that. So with me going on from there, the celestial creation will be one of the most mutable aspects, the non-fallen and exalted placements, Saturn. And that would be why it's not exalted. I was saying for the case of the matter of, and which I really didn't too much break it down, but I guess I could say for us to be able to create something for the long term of what we transform as a spirit. Yeah, I said that. So in our associations and shit like that, and our associates in the public, how we fixate and sustain that thought would be the most, one of the most mutable type energies in how we would be able to, what we would be able to utilize as spirit, basically, is what I'm saying. So breaking that down to what we celestially create would mean basically how we are becoming, initiating, or not initiating, but it's fixating, sustaining, and that ability to, celestially, which, through the stars, which, us above, so below, us create new, thoughts and ideas when it comes to how we can see the long-term vision of things. Like I said, you see what I'm saying? That's dealing with Aquarius, how we're unique and individual with things, but how we're seeing the long-term vision of that uniqueness and individuality, which hence why they say they're opposing, or whatever the case, or might be like, different, or why they may be seeming like they're not really, they're wanting to do something different from the crowd, or seem like the black sheep, whatever the case may be, with, how people explain Aquarius energy is dealing with one of the most mutable energies. So that's why I break it down like that, being able to create celestially amongst the stars, while you're here on earth, new thoughts and feelings. That's truly and honestly how we're gonna bring it down into reality and shit like that, fixating, sustaining that through our associates in the public, and bringing it to reality and shit like that. It would be one of those, in that aspect, like I said. But I'm about to break down these other aspects. So Jupiter, masculine side being Sagittarius. You feel me? Mutable fire, our experiences, wisdom, and knowledge, and how we can metaphysically travel through these, internal visions and shit like that. So with Jupiter, how we can extract wisdom, knowledge, gain, experiences, have a faith belief, or like, you know what I'm saying, expand on our wisdom, and how we can expand on our knowledge and experience wisdom. You feel me? So how we can, you know what I'm saying, be mutable, moldable, and adaptable to experiencing wisdom and knowledge. And when it comes to how we externally, you know what I'm saying, are moldable to others, as well as, you know what I'm saying, others' visions, as well as internally, you know, moldable to our own experiences and wisdom and knowledge and shit like that. How we metaphysically travel through those is another mutable aspect of transformation and change, and how our spirit can utilize that ability, which is where we're always changing and flowing, and you know what I'm saying, and moving throughout life, which is pretty much how life is, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's another one of these energies that the spirit can utilize to be able to, you know what I'm saying, grow, or like I said, be mutable, moldable, and adaptable to what life may, you know what I'm saying, life may throw at you, or whatever the case you could say, or what you are building your life up to be, in as a, you see what I'm saying, you know, being unique individual, and you know what I'm saying, amongst the associations, having that vision, that mutable fire, with that wisdom, experience, and knowledge, is, you know, metaphysically, you being able, your spirit having the ability to metaphysically travel through those things. You see what I'm saying? Mercury, Gemini being there, you know what I'm saying, your frequency of what you're creating, and you know what I'm saying, and like I said, your expression and of character when it comes to what you know what I'm saying, your associations is pretty much, you know what I'm saying, was not exalted or fallen and shit like that. So that's pretty much the point of this video though, so and shit like that. So like I was saying, yeah, our metaphysical travel though is gonna be more of you know, one of the most mutable and shit like that energies for our spirit to be able to utilize to be moldable, changeable, and adaptable to these life experiences, like I said, because it is in itself experience, wisdom, and knowledge and shit like that. And what our spirit would more likely to be gravitated, you know, gravitated, or be more meditating on, would be some shit, you know, in more cases, some shit like that, or wisdom, knowledge, or experience, some shit like that, where we can metaphysically travel through. So it's not more of a physical energy than, or not, I shouldn't say physical, but I should say metaphysical. So it would be more of a, you know what I'm saying, a visionary energy, or moldable and adaptable, mutable fire energy, for you to be able to be, you know what I'm saying, others wisdom and knowledge be expanded through you as well. You see what I'm saying? For you to expand your wisdom and knowledge, and you know, through others as well. So that's the type of energy, you know what I'm saying, that would also be non-exalted or fallen, would our spirit would utilize as a, you know, a masculine trait, to be able to you know what I'm saying, not be the most masculine or whatever the case, but it's just a masculine trait to be able to move out through life and shit like that nature, without being the most, you know, more exalted than fallen, or fallen and exalted. We're all just, you know what I'm saying, being mutable and being changeable and adaptable, more like, you know what I'm saying, to our wisdom, experiences, and knowledge, and our immediate environment surroundings and shit like that, going on to, you know, Mercury being in us, and the masculine side of Mercury being Gemini, where it's not exalted at or fallen in any other placement. You know what I'm saying? So these, and then, you know what I'm saying, the masculine side of these planets is also what, you know what I'm saying, is what the energy is basically displaying. So basically saying Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun is the best, you know what I'm saying, masculine side planets, that you're able to utilize those energies and shit like that to be able to, you know what I'm saying, navigate life in the way of you being more moldable and adaptable and changeable to situations, circumstances, and, you know what I'm saying, whatever places you are conducting your, you know what I'm saying, associates in the public, experience, wisdom, and knowledge, in your immediate environment, surroundings, and your self-expression, fun, and entertainment in. See what I'm saying? So like I said, mutable air and our immediate environment surroundings is our frequency of what we're creating. So like going on from you know what I'm saying, where we metaphysically travel, how we metaphysically travel, our frequency of what we're creating and shit like that. And then immediate environment, our surroundings is how we're gonna be moldable and changeable and adaptable to how we think, communicate, and shit like that. So that will be another one of the most non-exalted or fallen placements, because you know what I'm saying, what your thoughts is consistent of is frequently going. It's like life. You're always gonna be changing and being moldable and adaptable to those, you know what I'm saying, as well as others. But in the way that you do it, it's not gonna be exalted or fallen. It will be more mutable than anything, you know what I'm saying, and moldable and adaptable than anything, because you are the one that's, you know what I'm saying, creating that frequency. Nobody else can ride that frequency but you know what I'm saying, that you are creating and shit like that. So for that being the case in nature, you being the one that's creating that frequency, riding that frequency wave, you know what I'm saying, vibration and shit like that, a communication and how you thinking can be moldable and adaptable within your surroundings or environment or whatever the case, you know what I'm saying, you is thinking how you able to be moldable and adaptable the way you think and communicate in your immediate environment and your surroundings, and you know what I'm saying, how you create your frequencies, how you create your environment, what thoughts and characters that you jump in and out of in your environment, shit like that. That would be another one of the most mutable aspects. That would be another one of the most mutable aspects, you know what I'm saying? So to why it's not exalted, this is the reason. It's gonna be, you know, your thoughts is always, you know what I'm saying, changing. You're not ever gonna be, even if you're thinking about a thought, staying consistent on that thought, you're gonna be having, you know what I'm saying, always to be able, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be thinking in a way of like that you're moving through it. See what I'm saying? We're never truly, you know what I'm saying, fixated type stuff. See what I'm saying? So this would be, you know, Aquarius and Leo would be the most fixated. We I guess you could say, you know what I'm saying, we're fixed. We are have the ability to be fixated, but our true, you know, what our spirit more than likely is gonna, you know, want to experience or go through or get to a point of is, you know what I'm saying, which it helps us move through things, is being moldable and adaptable and shit like that to situations, circumstances, and places that we conduct, you know, everyday activities in and shit like that, whatever the case. So these are these energies, you know what I'm saying, this being like frequency, metaphysical, you know what I'm saying, our expression, our metaphysical frequency of what we are celestially creating, you know what I'm saying, with amongst the stars and shit like that. When it comes to us being individually, you know what I'm saying, stars, how we are in our solo space of spirit, you know what I'm saying, each individually amongst other spaces which are spirits and shit like that, our individuality and our, you see what I'm saying, our spirituality a lot of times can be, you know, like what we utilize as a spirit to move through life and basically be, you know what I'm saying, not be seen as riding the current, I guess you could say, not being the most high or being the most, you know, sunk down and, you know what I'm saying, all the way into the abyss. So what we want to ride the current is we're in control of things, if we're transforming along with things. That's pretty much how we want to be seen as in these non-exalted, non-fallen Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun planets. All those 4 planets, masculine side, how it externalizes reality is always continuously being moldable and adaptable and changeable. So that's pretty much a lot of life's aspects can come from this as well. Not saying that all placements don't add an equal percentage of, you know, all signs don't add an equal percentage or even more, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, wouldn't make sense, I get, you know what I'm saying, for the case of how life is, everything is pretty much, you know, balanced out. You see what I'm saying? If you have too much of something, then it will eventually fall down. But yeah, like I said, we even if you have something that is too exalted or that is too high or whatever, or too low, it will get brought up or brought down to be balanced out and shit like that. Something will fall down, something will come up eventually, something will happen. You see what I'm saying? So these things is kind of why I'm explaining, you know, the exaltation and the fallen placements of Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto ain't really exalted or fallen in Aquarius, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Leo. Sun being fixed fire, self-expression, fun and entertainment. You know what I'm saying? With our internal vision of our self-expression, how we have fun and entertain ourselves with that and be, you know what I'm saying, fixate and sustain the way that we are can relate to others, individuality and uniqueness when it comes to that and shit like that. Expression of character and how they are with their associations and associates in the public and shit like that, reflecting that on how we create our frequency of communication and the way that we metaphysically travel throughout these experiences and, you know, gain wisdom and knowledge through these things would be like, you know what I'm saying, the masculine side of the sun. So the masculine side of the sun, what we take actions in and what we, you see what I'm saying, take actions, have a different viewpoint in, or may have a different angle to hit things from or to come at things or take actions and, you know what I'm saying, be seen in these things, whatever the case. Take actions with being seen in these things, pretty much, yeah. So that's what, when the sun gets into a placement, that's what it is. We're planting seeds automatically. And even if you're not aware of it, you're planting seeds in that energy. Not just you're being controlled. See, that's why I say my channel is about this. You, me, we're all affected by each other's energy. Therefore, we affect ourselves as well through influencing others through our energy and shit like that being reflected back upon us. So this is the reason why, you know what I'm saying, our influences, you know what I'm saying, affect each other. So we bounce off of each other and shit like that. We get influence from the external as well as, you know what I'm saying, influence each other. So this is pretty much the masculine side of how, you know what I'm saying, the mutable aspect of non-exalted fallen aspect of life. These four planets, four masculine, you know, placements and shit like that is having, you know, your spirit utilizing those abilities and shit like that to be able to move and be moldable and adaptable. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that these are the most, you know what I'm saying, mutable signs or whatever the case, which I mean, you know what I'm saying, gonna add more, you know what I'm saying, to this as, you know, we go along this journey, you know what I'm saying? So like this ain't the end all be all conclusion. This is just, you know what I'm saying, what we bringing up and, you know what I'm saying, for the, in case of all possibilities, we be able to learn things to each other. So like I said, comment or whatever, like, you know, the case you may be able to add some wisdom and knowledge experience through this video is very much encouraged and it is needed. Best and believe. So like, yeah, like I said, so man, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Wrapping this video up. While Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, masculine side is an exalted, you know what I'm saying? We went through all the exaltations, the falls, the detriments, and the docile, how everything is basically seen and what I got here right here from this chart and shit like that. So how everything is seen from basically how the greatest fruit that we bear is being able to be balanced out when, you know what I'm saying, all these planets are in these positions versus when they're in their fallen detriment or domicile, and as well why the only placements that isn't exalted or fallen, but what is included in the detriment and domicile is you know what I'm saying, only placements is Aquarius, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Leo. So yeah, and That's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, how life works. The most mutable, adaptable, and changeable, moldable signs would most likely be these having, you know what I'm saying, us, our spirit, us being able to utilize this as an ability. I could see this, you know what I'm saying, being a way to go deeper and dive deeper into why we act the way we act. Like I said, our expression of our character, the frequency of why we or the frequencies of what we're creating, or how we metaphysically travel through these things, which, you know what I'm saying, that's our experiences, wisdom, and knowledge, what we are truly extracting, you see what I'm saying, out of the experience, wisdom, and knowledge, when we are metaphysically traveling through these things, and our celestial creation of, in the public, and our associations and associates, how we build the long-term vision of seeing things into reality, of connecting the dots when it comes to our individuality amongst each other and shit of that nature. So yeah, it's been fun, you feel me? I'm a you know what I'm saying, go ahead and continue with this series, but it's not really series. It's like it's gonna be a part 2 to this. So it will be a second, you know what I'm saying, view on this concept, but in a whole different chart and shit like that, of that nature. So yeah, hey man, I love y'all. Famous Mellow Ho.